All right, welcome to episode 110 of the Balance Period podcast, the show where we not only share our stories of growth, we also share the simple, sustainable self-care habits that we practice to help us make it from where we were to where we are today. I am one of your hosts, Recovery Ray.
And the Bald Sage. And today we have a very special guest. He's actually someone who we've actually knew when we were kids. And I had another mutual friend whose name is Mark Park, who recently reached out to me and was like, hey, you need to reach out to Earl because he and you are on a lot of the same things. So we had to get him on the show. I'm going to let him tell you all about what he does and a little bit about himself. But I would like to introduce Earl Campbell.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, so basically in terms of like what I do, I'm a real estate developer. I've been in real estate since like my junior year in high school. That was around like 2006, 2007. My uncle got me started. So I've been doing that midway, so I would say about when I moved in 2010. I started to, let me back it up a little bit. So when I started in real estate, I started doing rental properties and learning the aspects of tenant management and how to do property management, things of that nature, basic needs that a home needs to function properly. And I did that all throughout the remainder of high school and into like my first semester of college. So after my first semester, I had dropped out. So I was like, it ain't really what I wanted to do. I was going to be a dentist. And that's what I pretty much did all through high school because we had the magnet program. Mm-hmm. And Washington was like the medical. So that's right. So I kind of looked at like the overall, how many more years I was going to have to go. And it really like changed my whole perspective. Like, I don't really think this is for me. So around 2010, I moved to Indy. And then I wanted to kind of take a career in, I wanted to like fix cars. But I also still wanted to be in real estate too. So I came here. I was going to go to Lincoln Tech. I literally signed up for school, got a loan, everything, paid for it. Went my first day, orientation. I literally dropped out. I was like, it was like something hit me like, this ain't what you're supposed to be doing. So I went back to the drawing board, and then I had my cousin. His name is Michael LaSure. He was like a big time real estate investor. And then when the market crashed in 2008, he kind of like took a heavy fall like a lot of people did. So I pretty much told him, like, listen, I got a little bit of money from school. I got a little bit of money from when I was working. And I kind of want to build on what my uncle was showing me in South Bend. So, and I know you were pretty good into the game. Can you kind of help me get started? And he was doing it from an aspect of buying and flipping properties. And I had a lot of interest in that. So he got me started, and then that kind of like inspired me to like maybe want to get back in school and become an architect. So I did that. I enrolled in a semester at Ivy Tech, and then it was just like when I got to seeing like all the requirements and how long they wanted me to be, it was like I'm already doing that now by myself, like teaching myself. So it didn't really make sense. So long story short, school didn't work out. So right. I'm not telling nobody to drop out of school, but I'm just saying like I kind of had like my like eye-opening situation and that it just wasn't for me. And then I kind of like needed to look more into myself when it came to that. Because I always felt like something was telling me like, don't worry about it. But it was always that worried about what other people will say. Because your family like always into you, like you got to go to school, you know, you don't got a degree, then you ain't nothing. You can't get a good job. So I did that. I had my first couple of houses I got to do. My first big job was for Deion Branch, ex-wide receiver for the New England Patriots. And I did a project with him. It turned out phenomenal. And then him and I kind of like became really close. I started managing a lot of his properties. We started to do a lot more projects for each other. And then just built to an overall partnership. And like now where I am today, it's just like I design and develop so many properties and things for other clients and people. And then I travel for people to go manage projects. So it's really like a true passion of mine. Who would have ever thought that, like, you know what I'm saying, when I was a junior in high school, my uncle taking that little bit of time to just grab me and just say, hey, let me show you something, would change the whole course of the outcome of how I am today, which I'm extremely grateful for what he did. And I want to be able to, like, I know there's other people that maybe have gone through like the same type of things, like in a space where they just don't know what they want to do with their life, where they want to go. And I feel like stories like that can be a little bit of inspirational for people to kind of like find out more what it is, what they want to do with their life. So
Definitely.
yeah.
Facts.
No, very dope. You had said in the beginning that you were aware of those things that you didn't want to do. I know for me, I'm also someone who's done a whole bunch of different things, from acting, modeling, basketball, and all these different activities. And I realized like just none of this was for me. Like even just a regular job wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. And so what was it like to be aware of that in that moment? Was there any struggle as far as like how you said with family wanting you to go to school and stuff like that, but you being like, nah, this is just not for me?
I mean, like when it came to school and stuff like that, from the situation that I was in with my family, I always had to like work. Ever since like I first got my permit in high school, like I remember like I used to ask jobs like if I could stay way past the hours. Like I would be working to 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, get home and be right back up 6 and have to be in class at 7:30. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I feel like I always had to make that level of sacrifice because I didn't really come from, you know what I'm saying, like a silver spoon. I had really humble beginnings. But when it came to corporate America, like I always noticed that they just don't have your level of interest at hand. And it's just like I feel like we spend so much time putting our energy into something that they created, and by the time that, you know, we finish the end of the day and we go home, it's like we don't got no energy to put nothing into nothing that we want to personally manifest. So that's how I kind of feel about that. I mean, I didn't have like no beef or nothing with my mom on it, but like she used to just ask me like, well, what you gonna do? I'm like, I'm gonna just start my own thing. I'm gonna do my own thing. Like how I knew I would never work for corporate America again. For me, I was at a job at Pet Boys in Plainfield. True story. And I had always been to work on time, never really late, never really called off like that. And this in particular summer, I remember I had got injured. I had got injured playing basketball. And then I tried to go to work, and then I put my little boot on. I was trying to make it happen. And it was like they was just coming at me so crazy. Like you should be doing better, or like you should know better than that. Like this is more important than anything that you have outside of you. So it was just kind of like when they put it into that perspective that like they just didn't value me no more. I was getting all these awards and all of that, but then all of a sudden it was like it was a complete 180. Like once that happened, like once I became damaged goods, it's like they didn't look at me the same, or they didn't value me the same, I should say. So like that definitely changed my whole outlook on things when it came to that. And I mean, when it comes to school, I feel like school, from what I experienced, I feel like it's good for the social aspect of it. I feel like we all need to be able to experience one another and get those relationships. But when it comes to the educational piece, I feel like if you really like hone in on something that you're passionate about, nobody can really teach you.
Yeah.
It's better than you can.
Dope.
Facts. Yeah, and I think in addition to that is like you learn more from experience anyway. And I know even I got a college degree, and the classes that I learned the most from were the ones that had a lab of some sort that I was actually doing stuff. So
Yeah.
if you're able to find what you're passionate about and work in that space, then I mean, you're able to build skills that people that go to school just to learn about certain things don't even have coming out of college. So it's definitely valuable to know that just get some experience, and actually work in what you're passionate about, and you'll definitely be farther along as time progresses. So as you're talking through this process of the journey that you've had to make it to where you are today, it sounds like you've maintained a very disciplined mindset for you to be able to be as self-aware as you are, to notice what it is you feel like your purpose is and consistently take action in that direction regardless of what any outside noise is saying. So can you talk a little bit more about your mindset and how you've developed it over these years?
I would say I've always kind of like been the type of person to never really care like what other people think of me. Um, I typically don't always go with what the crowd says. Like I'm always just that low key kind of cut back, like just scoping out the scene. Like that's just me. I would say that my mindset wasn't always as strong as it was right now. Everybody kind of goes through the trials and tribulations, and for me, I feel like when I got when I started to kind of ascend consciously, for me was more of like in the year of 2017, leading up to my son being born in 2018. So, like in 2017, I remember I was working on a project, um, and I had a friend had came by, and he was just outside. He was invested in the property, and he came by to check on it, and then he like out of the blue he started talking to me about uh, like the law of attraction. And it's funny because and I and this is why like I feel like the term "don't judge a book by its cover," because like this in particular person, like his name is T. I'm not gonna say his name. I'm just say his name is T. Okay, and like he definitely like persona wise, he's always the person around us that we knew that had a lot of money, that like everybody wanted to be like. He always had the fanciest cars, big rims, like shiny shoes, you know what I'm saying? Like big chains. And it's like you don't expect to learn nothing from like you would think from somebody like that, right? And it was like him and I never really had a conversation too tough like that. We just had like mutual friends. And this day in particular, like he just decided to come talk to me. He was like, "Man, you ever read books on law of attraction?" I'm like, "No, bro, what's that?" And he kind of like was breaking it down to me. And the more he kept talking, I was like glued. I'm like, this is crazy. And he was giving me stuff to read. And then I started like following up on it. I was really big into like the Nipsey Hussle interviews and stuff like that. And then I would say when August of 2018 came, it was like every month leading up to that, it was like I was just receiving like so many different downloads. And it was like when I met my son, and I remember like this like vaguely, like I remember they took him out the room and they took him upstairs, they isolated him by himself, and it was like, you want to go up there and see him because his mom couldn't go. So I was like, yeah, that's fine, I'll go up there and sit with him. And I went up there and it was just me, and it's like this is my first kid. So I'm already nervous as is. I'm trying to figure out what to say. I'm just like, but he don't really know what I'm saying. But I'm like, I'm gonna just give it a shot. So it's like I went over there, I started talking to him, and I remember like some kept telling me like grab his hand. And I remember I grabbed his hand. It was like when he had grabbed him and he like clenched my finger, it was like, I kid you not, like I literally got like this vision. You know what I'm saying? Like I started seeing different things about my son, different things about me from my past that I used to think was a certain way that it wasn't. Like it was almost like I was seeing alternatives. You know what I'm saying? Like roads that I took and things that I didn't and what would have happened. It was the craziest thing ever.
Man,
And that within right there like completely changed everything for me in terms of like what life really is, you know what I'm saying? Like process of like what they call death, a lot of the things that they taught us, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like from that moment forward, I felt like I've never been the same. I've never looked at fear the same. I've never looked at a lot of things the same. And people always, they always ask me all the time, like, I'm like, I spoil my son or I'm so obsessed with my son. And it's not even that. It's the fact that I realized that even though my son in his avatar that he is in right now, I'm older than him, but like spiritually, he's my ancestor, and it's like my role is basically to kind of help him like remember who he is, and like he's also teaching me who I am and who I am capable of. Like I've never experienced anything like that in my life. It was a very beautiful thing, and that's why like I'm that's like my heart. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But yeah, that's kind of like where
that's powerful.
yeah.
Man.
That's powerful. I don't have any kids, but I know that just from understanding, similar to what you were just describing, in my mind, I'm just like, for some people, they describe having kids as like their life somehow gets worse. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Based on what I have learned about the universe, I'm like, if I have a kid, shouldn't my life get exponentially better? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and from what it sounds like, that's the experience that you have had so far. So thank you. You kind of helped show me a little bit of what my future's looking like. So I appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, people just don't be a lot of things that we've been like programmed to believe are certain things for what they are based off what's been shoved down our throats and in our minds over time. But it's just like you clearly like if you like just take time to like just sit, be in stillness and actually listen to the voice within you and not everybody else's outside chatter is really beautiful what you'll see and what you'll find. And then I feel like if a lot more people knew like the role that they're supposed to have as a parent, they would completely look at it completely different. Because a lot of people don't, they haven't even got to that point in understanding, what when it comes to reincarnation, or when it comes to cosmic energy and what the universe is, and like when people say, "Oh, your kid has an old soul. He been here before." Yeah, he has. He has. You know what I'm saying? He can't speak it, but he definitely know who he is. It's just that he has no way to kind of articulate it to you to where you can kind of understand it.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. No.
Well, yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
I was going to say, I love it. Like, just the aspect of him. Like, as soon as he said, I'm helping my son remember who he is. I've never heard a parent say that. Like, I think that is very, very profound to just put your son in that situation, because that's just going to create momentum in his life for him to do that for his next and that next. And I just think that's really dope.
Yeah, his mom is, I would say she be a little bit freaked out. Cause she be like, my son be just in the room and She's like, he just be talking in the corner, talking about, mommy, mommy. She'd be like, I don't go in the room, or he'll have his little crystals, and he'll be in there doing stuff, and like him and I like meditate whenever he comes over, like we meditate together. Um, I try to like instill that in him because it's like, you know, if I was his age and knew what I knew now, like it would be over. It would be over. So it's just like to like give him a head start so that like, you know, when he with his peers that he can, you know what I'm saying, they can see what he's doing and like, okay, like I need to like be on what you on. But
Yeah, facts.
yeah.
And I'm glad that you touched upon the habit of meditation, right? Like you were saying, just observing your reality from the place of stillness, which is such a powerful practice. Were there any other habits that you've adopted over these years that not only you practice, but that you also look to impart into your son?
Mm, I would definitely say like my diet, like because I'm vegan and I'm really trying to like get him to be on that for the most part, like he does. From time to time, me and his mom still combat with one another, but I would say that I mean she's transitioning a little bit, but I feel like we'll eventually get there. That's one thing. Um, I tend to let him play with like tablets and stuff like that, but I try to make sure that like because I work so much that when I am around, like I kind of take the tablet away and I just like talk with him about like being outside and grounding himself. Or when we in the car, I always tell him to like, you know, look at the sun and stuff like that. You know, I try to make sure that he's like in tune with nature all around because I feel like that's what we originally were, and we got to get back to that.
Yeah.
And then you know, I talk to him about you know business stuff too, because I'm just like you know even though you only two, I still got. I talk to him about my day sometime, like when I be having issues at work. And I'm like, this is the type of stuff you're gonna have to deal with, and he just be looking at me, but I still just say it because it's like put it in the back
Right.
of his head.
Yeah. Right. Dope, man.
No. Yeah. So, Raymond, do you have anything else?
Honestly, I was just gonna ask about specific ways that you keep your cup full. I know you talked about meditation. You talked about making sure that you're mindful of what you're eating, grounding yourself. But are there any other habits that you practice to make sure you keep your cup full so you can be the best you for your son?
Outside of meditation, because I feel like that's such a big part of me. Um, I think I've been more so lately, like I've been getting my body has been forcing me to want to like rest more, because I typically work like a full day, like I'm probably working out of like 18 hours out of that day, and it's like I sleep very little, but then I meditate a few times, and I noticed that like when I kind of make more time for myself to actually rest and do the other stuff, that helps me, you know. But
Yep.
other than that, like meditation would be my biggest thing. Because last week I would say that like it was the first time like I probably meditated only once last week, and I can definitely feel the difference this week. Like I ain't gonna necessarily say sick, but I was under the weather like Saturday. From Saturday till pretty much today, I was like in the bed because like my body was so fatigued. Like I just couldn't really do nothing. So definitely sleep. Sleep is definitely important.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, because my question was going to be about a post you made when you talked about self-mastery should be your biggest motivation. And you kind of just already answered that when Raymond asked his question. So kill two birds with one stone.
Oh yeah, man. Definitely. I have been planning on the last few years. Well, actually longer than that. I would say way back to like 2011. I was actually going to write a book about that, like different things in my life and stuff like that. And what ended up, ironically, like whenever I like written it, because I used to keep it in my phone, I would always lose it, like the whole everything, every couple years, and I never could get. I'm like, what the hell? Like I don't understand. Like why the hell do I keep losing it? And for me, I feel like I got to a point where I was like, you know what? Maybe I wasn't supposed to write about none of those experiences, because they were a part of my lower self, and I'm in such a different space now that I feel like my I need to stick more to like what my overall purpose is. You know what I'm saying? Because you're the greatest gift you can give someone. I feel like is your attention. And um, the greatest reward you can achieve out of life is inspiring others. So I feel like I need to align everything that I do around that, um, and making other people want to find the better versions of themselves. So,
Dope.
Oh yeah, that's all I got for today. I like that.
oh, okay.
Yeah, man.
I
Well, yeah,
like
we
this.
appreciate you having here, man. Appreciate you having you, man.
I
For
appreciate
sure.
y'all inviting me on, man. I actually have a podcast myself coming out
Okay.
soon, along with a vlog to kind of like show my day to day in the real estate field, but then like other stuff that I do. Um, so I would definitely love to get y'all on there, and I would definitely love to come back on here. I feel like it's so many topics that we can kind of touch into that it would just go.
Oh yes.
Agreed. So yeah, man, we're gonna give you the space now. Anything that you want to plug, anything that you want our listeners to pay closer attention to of yours, go ahead and let us know what you got going on.
Um, yeah, I would say outside of the vlog and the podcast is going to be called Live to Inspire. Like I said, it's pretty much going to be highlighting my day to day, kind of showing people the tricks and trades of the industry, the realness of it, not what they show you on HGTV, and then kind of highlighting like my work, but then also like aspect where I can kind of like highlight other people and let them tell their side of the story. Because it's like you don't really hear from like the people that do everything behind the scenes. So I feel like that's important, especially for people who are trying to be like real estate investors. I feel like their biggest thing that they run into is janky contractors stealing money from them and stuff like that. So for me, like that's gonna be a big thing. And then the podcast is pretty much just gonna be, you know, different, teaching and things of that nature when it comes to real estate. Another thing, somewhere where I feel like it can be like a common ground where everyone can come together and kind of like put anything they want out on the table, you know. So that I would say in terms of the viewers, like you can kind of like check me out there. My social media, I don't really get on social media like that, to be honest with you. But like every now and then, like I'll get on and make a post on Facebook, and then I hop off. But I would just say in the shift we kind of head into now, I just kind of want like everyone to like start aligning themselves and getting out in nature and just trying to find themselves. Like don't spend so much time worrying about your day to day, all your different tasks. Like because at the end of the day, like time is an illusion, you know, so you don't got to worry about deadlines and all these different bills that's due here and there. Like, and people always say, like, you know, I don't have no time to meditate. Which really, you could take 5 minutes to yourself,
Right.
go to the bathroom, close your eyes, and you can get right. And it's just like, if people like take more time and what I would say, um, celebrating success, because it seems like we as a people always get too caught up in relating to one another when it comes to struggle, and I feel like that ain't what it's supposed to be, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, for the most part, that's what I would want for everyone to just slow down, get with themselves, and work on like focusing on the things that matter the most.
Definitely.
Dope. Well, yeah, bro. Like I said before, man, we appreciate you being on with us today. Nick, is there anything else that you want to leave the people with today?
Oh, of course. You're already whole, and keep enjoying the rest of your amazing journey.
Exactly. So thank you all once again for tuning in. As always, we appreciate your time and attention because your time and attention are valuable assets. So thank you. We look forward to continuing to bring you more stories of growth along with the habits that we practice so that you can continue to learn, continue to grow, and be the best emotionally intelligent examples you can be. Peace.
Later.